what's up?
What's up, man? Yeah.
What's happening? I think I've started a show like this before.
What? What's up?
What's up?
What's happening?
What's happening?
It's like that moment in Avengers.
Yes.
Where's Gamora? I'll give you one better. Who's Gamora? I'll give you one better. What did he say? What's Gamora? No, he said, when's Gamora? Or something stupid like that.
Oh, yes. When's Gamora? Wait. What? Okay.
Yeah, anyway, moving right along.
Definitely.
So welcome back to the movie show. I'm Sash.
And I'm Ryan.
And I don't know if you can hear, guys, today Ryan's got some extra bass added.
I have no idea
funkiness.
what you are talking about.
It's not a sound effect, guys. It's his voice.
Hi. I'm Thor, son of Loki.
You're Thor, son of Loki.
Odin.
Yeah!
Son of Odin. And I am the god of thunder.
Right, and the son of Loki. Ryan, you're not getting away with that.
A made-up character.
Yes, so today we have quite an interesting show. So what we've done is we've taken a couple of movies that were made and were based on true life stories, but that have like quite intense or crazy or weird storylines. Yeah. So you like almost watch a movie that it's not the average movie like storyline. We're talking storyline here that you'd expect to see, and on top of it, they're actually real life stories. So it's not just some crazy person's imagination somewhere that decided to write. No, this is funny stuff. Yeah, this is based on actual events, true life events.
And that's quite interesting because isn't it that we watch movies often and we enjoy the movie, we enjoy the story, and now like, good movie, we ended, and then you find out it was a true story.
And they always leave it to the end, man. It's so cool. Like you watch the whole movie, you're like, oh, guys, this is a true life. Guys, it's a true.
You see? Like imagine people didn't know about Titanic. Like imagine Titanic wasn't an actual recorded, well-taught event, and then you watch the whole of Titanic, and then you're like, based on a true life story. Like,
what? Yeah. So, and obviously, I don't know what I was just about to say. This is what I was going to say.
I make up stuff at that point. So I just go ahead and I say, and obviously we're in a studio recording and you guys need to be listening. Yeah.
No, what I was going to say was that Titanic is not one of the options. So before you get all on us, don't worry. It's not Titanic. Titanic didn't even cross my mind actually. I'll be quite honest, Ryan. Like I was like, oh yeah, Titanic.
But everybody knows Titanic.
But actually, it's not the loves, the romance. That's added, isn't it?
Yeah.
Always was that true?
Ooh, let's find out.
Okay, not in the show. Okay, so we're just gonna go through a couple of them.
I was about to create a more of a hype for the show and say, well, you need to listen to the rest of the show to find out because we might just speak about that and get them to listen to the whole thing because that's what everyone does. Don't look at me disgusting. They do it out there.
No, guys, we don't lie to you.
No, I didn't say we will. We say, and you might find out.
Okay, so this is the case, right? You're not going to find out because we didn't search Titanic because Ryan just thought of Titanic right now. But there are other movies that you didn't even know existed that you actually might want to go watch.
We just lost 50 million.
No, we didn't.
50 million people just.
No, we got 50 million more because they now realize that they can trust us and that we're not lying to them or manipulating them or making them feel like fools.
Fun.
You see? Right?
Please.
Yes.
Do proceed.
So the first movie that we're going to be talking about is it's a film called The Impossible. Now, okay, before we get started, so some of these films I've watched, some of these films I haven't watched.
All of them I haven't watched.
Well, Ryan.
Wait, but as we go along.
You're right. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. Yes.
But we will play the trailer before we speak about it.
Oh, yes, and before. So, guys, you need to go watch our YouTube video.
That's why we lost 50 million because they went to YouTube now. In the search bar, they're busy typing
movie show.
ActiveFM Movie Show.
Yeah, or Active TV.
And then you'll see me and Sash there, or a TV, or if you tune into the Active. We got 2 channels. That's brilliant. Mm-hmm. And now they are clicking on the movie show, and now they're starting to watch. Okay, they're skipping over the intro part because they've seen it before. Wait a minute, you have to subscribe. They're clicking subscribe, they're clicking the bell button. Okay, and now they're finding the spot
again. Now their bandwidth just ran out, so it's buffering.
Buffering. This
buffering. Is when we freeze our own video and put a buffering sign there, so they think it's buffering, but it's not.
I'll tell you what. Let it buffer for a while. Go get yourself some popcorn and go. I'm gonna do that.
Right?
I'm gonna do that. In fact, this is a part where we laugh because now we come back. We're just joking.
We got you.
And now we continue.
Yes. So wait, we didn't tell them what's happening.
The trailers.
Yes. So as we announce each movie or whatever, we'll basically play the trailer for you, so you not only hear about the storyline. And guys, this is probably like a hectic spoiler alert show, but you probably never would have gone and watched these movies if you didn't know about them. So we actually, you see, it's like a win-win situation.
Yeah, those guys owe us, man.
Right. And yes, so we'll play the trailer for you just so maybe if you weren't interested and then you saw the trailer and then you're like, wait, this actually looks quite good, man, then you can go watch it.
They're going to promote us.
Right. So the first film, as I said earlier, is The Impossible.
Boys, come and see this. Isn't it great?
Can we swim in there?
Yeah, we can go swimming, yeah. Go get it, Lucas. The most scary bit for me,
And the water hit.
when I came up. And I was all on my own. And then I saw the two of you. I didn't feel so scared anymore. If Mummy and Lucas are on their own right now, I'm gonna keep looking for them.
One love,
I'm scared.
one life,
I'm scared too.
when it's one need in the night. One life
Thank you so much.
with each other, sister.
Lucas, can't help people. You're good at it.
Agda, Joseph, Morton.
You're looking for your family?
Same, you get to carry each other, carry each
I'll look in all the hospitals and I'll look in all the shelters. I will find them, I promise you that.
Now, The Impossible is based on a story of a family that goes to Japan. They're British. They go to Japan in 2004, and they basically they go to so they going there to celebrate Christmas, and they get put up at a resort, and then one of the afternoons, they're by the pool having fun, and next minute, without any warning, a tsunami hits Japan.
I've seen this.
Okay, you see, I told you.
Yes.
So a tsunami hits Japan and literally the family gets separated. So it's a mother and father and 3 sons. The family gets completely separated. The mother, they all get injured, obviously, as the tsunami hits them. But the mother specifically, I'd say, she obtains the worst injuries. But then what happens then is the family gets split. So the father is able to find the youngest 2 sons, and the mother's able to find the older son, whose name is Lucas, which is played by Tom Holland, Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man, if you didn't know that, when he's young. So if you want to go see him when he's small, go watch The Impossible. Yeah, and basically now it's this whole thing of this family has to, first of all, keep alive. Second of all, they don't know if a second tsunami is going to hit, so they're all trying to get to higher ground, but they're also trying to, get to hospitals because, they're injured. And then at the same time, they're trying to find one another, and they don't know if they're alive. Like, they don't know if, they're the only one or the only 2 or whatever. So it's quite an intense storyline. It's quite a beautiful story, though. The way they did it was amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed this film. You will cry unless you're like have no emotions. Ryan, did you cry? You have no emotions, eh?
I have no emotion.
Nah, unless you
I know
like
it's all
Ryan.
fake.
Oh,
Oh, look at that.
right.
That's Tom Holland.
Yep, there's little Tom Holland. Oh, look at him.
And he had a British accent, didn't he?
He did. But
Dad.
he's British.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So basically, and it's a beautiful. It ends sad. No, I'm joking. It doesn't end sad. It's got a good ending, guys. So it's not. It's a drama, but not one of those dramas where you leave and you feel like the whole world is just falling apart. And what was the point of watching that movie? Yes, but it's very good. You know, the special effects are brilliant.
Harry Holland.
Harry Holland.
Which is Tom Holland's brother. He's involved in it.
Serious?
It's both him and his brother.
That's so cool.
Tom Holland. Sorry.
Tom Holland and yes, right. Yeah. So it's a very good film, guys. Go watch it. I thought it was brilliant. And the crazy part is it's a true life story. Like, you think the way that it ends, it's like, yeah, that's not a true life story.
So the family, is it the family part? Because obviously we knew that the tsunamis from the whole Japan tsunami thing, which was quite bad. But then is it the family thing?
Yeah, the family
thing.
Should we spoil it for them?
Oh, no.
But it's still dramatic, even though you know it's going to happen.
I think I'm going to start crying.
Nah. So yes. So should we spoil it for them? They might as well. They're probably going, yes, yes. So the family finds each other in the end, but it's still one of those, you know, when you're like, no. Yeah, but it was a very good film. It's very good from a, like, because like we live in Joburg, like we don't have the sea anywhere near us, and even if there was a tsunami, which there's never been, as far as I know, like it wouldn't really affect us unless like half of the ocean decided to come onto South Africa. So like with us, tsunamis, like you hear about it and it's terrible, but you don't actually know, like you don't understand. And this, it was from just the way they depicted everything. I mean, I remember the one scene when they go to the hospital, literally there was this person that they were on a bed and they were pushing them, but their whole leg, their bone was sticking out, and you're like, did I just see? But it was yeah. But it is guys, if you don't want to cry, don't, if you just lost your puppy, don't go watch it, because you'll be traumatized. Wait for like a year's time or something. Yeah, so that's The Impossible. It came out in what year? You don't know?
96. No, sorry.
That was Tom Holland was born in 96.
Yeah. Flip.
He's 1 year older than me.
Yeah.
So The Impossible came out in 2012. Yes. And it was very, it's good. It's a good film. Go watch it, guys. It's a good film. The next film on our list, Ryan, I don't know if you've watched this. I don't think you've watched this. Is a movie called Joy.
Listen to me. I'll tell you what's going to come of you. You are going to grow up and be a strong, smart young woman. Go to school. Meet a fine young man. Have beautiful children of your own. And you're going to build wonderful things. And that is what is going to happen to you.
Don't ever think that the world owes you anything, because it doesn't.
My name's Joy, by the way.
then the main actress in it is Jennifer Lawrence, who is the same.
We've spoken about this.
Have you?
I haven't seen it.
Okay.
But I think you've mentioned.
Yes. So it's the main actress is Jennifer Lawrence, and she, if you don't know who Jennifer Lawrence is, she's acted in X-Men as the blue chick Mystique. She's acted in Hunger Games, so that's Jennifer Lawrence. And basically what happens is Joy is the humble roots. So basically it's about a woman who became an industry of who had an industry of household inventions, mainly the miracle mop. She was basically the inventor of all of these household inventions, but mainly the invention that is put focus on is the miracle mop. So obviously this is not the most obvious choice for a biopic, you know, because literally it's a movie about a woman that made a mop. That's literally the storyline, guys.
I think I'll watch a soapy.
So basically, but it still grabs you, which is crazy because it's about a mop, but it actually still grabs you. So basically how the storyline goes is it starts out with Joy as a fable little girl who likes to make things, and you know her grandmother Mimi's like very supportive and encourages her and sees a lot in her. But then what happens is as her life goes along, like things start to fall apart. So what happens is she marries a man, they have 2 kids together, but they end up getting divorced, but they remain friends. And then she ends up living in a rickety house with her entire extended family, including her ex-husband who hangs around in the basement and sings 1970s power ballads in a tuxedo.
Right.
So it's quite an odd family, but basically this is the house she lives in. And then her mother lies in bed all day watching soap operas. Literally, that's her mom. She lies in bed all day watching soap. And then her father, who is played by Robert De Niro, shows up by the door one day because he's been thrown out of the house by his new wife and needs a place to stay. But then he eventually gets a new girlfriend. So he's that type of father who, you know, like can win an award for the amount of women he's been with, type of thing. And her grandmother actually ends up dying. But basically it's the whole story of how one day her and her father, because her father was dating this super rich chick, they were on a boat, you know, when you go out on a boat. And what happens is they had wine, but then one of the glasses dropped and then she had to clean it. But obviously as she was mopping and wringing the mop, the glass was getting into her fingers, so it was cutting her. So that made her think up the idea of, you know, the mop where you don't have to wring it with your hands. It's got the mechanism at the top, and then you wring it out and then it wrings the mop, or you pull it and then the mop wrings itself. That mop was created by this chick, so the movie's basically around this chick. But it's not just about the mop, because basically what happens is she uses her dad's girlfriend to help invest money so that she can make the mop. She then goes on a show where Bradley Cooper and Robert De Niro are also in it. He basically has like this TV program, you know, when they sell household goods, so then you have this person come up, like Very Mark and things like that. And basically she ends up going on the show because the guy before was pathetic at trying to sell her mop, and she ends up selling it. But then what happens is her molds and her design gets basically stolen, and she's like losing money, and it's just this whole story of how she basically gets it all back. So she almost goes bankrupt, but she gets it all back, and then she starts helping other people. So at the end of the film you actually see her sitting, she's obviously got money now, she's got a beautiful house, and she's seeing people who are inventors themselves, but also who were like her, who don't have a lot of money, who no one's interested in, but they've got a good idea, but they just...
So that's the good part of the story there. Well, at least it's made it interesting, because now already I'm like, okay.
But it was quite a cool film it was very different you didn't feel like you were watching a proper movie. I love what the director did in terms of style. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like the style of film was very, very different. The shots that he got. So it wasn't like you're just watching the story of, like for me, the cool part about it was also the creative concept behind it. So it's not just the story, which is clever, because they take a story that may be like, okay, but then, you know, they change it, they don't change it, but they bring in a creative side, which kind of helps. So it's quite. So guys, go watch it if you're bored or something. Not if you're bored. It is a good movie. I did enjoy it. Yeah, it's a cool movie. The fact is, it's got Jennifer Lawrence, Robert De Niro, and Bradley Cooper in it. And for me, those three are good combinations. If you've ever watched Silver Linings Playbook. But it's all about this. It's like when you have a messed up family.
Yeah.
But it's almost what's the word? What's the word? Amusing to watch in a way.
Yeah.
So that's joy.
Quite funny.
It's literally a movie about a mop, but it's a good movie. So go watch it, guys. Yes. Then the next movie that we're going to be looking at is a movie called The Founder.
I've never seen a restaurant like this in my life.
Orders ready in 30 seconds, not 30 minutes.
Franchise the damn thing.
How the heck do you build a fast food empire? One word, persistence.
There should be McDonald's everywhere. Sea to shining sea.
I could be growing this thing at twice the pace.
Let's just slow down a minute.
Did he just hang up on you? Unless we got violently disconnected.
There should be Windows sponsorship.
No!
Barbecue beef.
No!
I am through with you and your endless parade of no's.
What is it with this guy?
Business is war. It's dog eat dog. I want to take the future. I want to win.
When's enough gonna be enough for you?
Probably never.
There are plenty of things we could do to make a quick buck, but that doesn't mean we should. He hung up again.
Damn right.
The Founder.
Now, this movie is quite it's quite an intense. Yeah, I was shocked when I didn't know this. Ryan, did you know this? Did you know what had happened?
Oh.
No, I didn't
No,
know.
when I heard the story, I was like,
what? Okay, so everyone knows McDonald's,
I used to
right?
walk into McDonald's and then you see like the guy there, what's his name?
Ray Kroc.
Yes, and I'd be like, salute you, man. But then after I heard this, I was like,
This is intense. So, McDonald's. Everyone knows McDonald's. Everyone loves McDonald's. But McDonald's...
Not everyone loves.
Okay, most people like McDonald's.
Yes.
At least their milkshake. Shame, all their McFlurries. Their McFlurries are
Right.
good, right? But basically, The Founder is a movie based on the true story of how Ray Kroc, who is supposedly the founder of McDonald's, was basically a struggling salesman from Illinois. And then he basically met Mac and Dick McDonald.
Yes.
So he met the two brothers.
Hence the name.
McDonald.
The surname,
yes. So they basically were running a burger operation in the 1950s, Southern California, and their store was basically, their burger store was basically called McDonald's. And what impressed him about the McDonald's franchise was that the service was very fast, the quality of the food was very good, and it was like it was a family restaurant, so it was nice to go to because it was a family restaurant. And basically he was impressed by the brothers' speedy system of making the food, and he saw a huge potential for the franchise, and he basically he maneuvered himself into a position to be able to pull the company from the brothers and create a multi-billion-dollar empire. So Ray Kroc stole McDonald's from the McDonald's brothers and then made it as famous as it is today.
Mm-hmm.
But did you also know that McDonald's is actually a real estate?
And it was a what? It was a verbal contract.
Yes. Well, he said it was a
He said it was a verbal and
contract.
then he broke. Which I remember, I don't know if you mentioned before something like that, but back in the, like a few years ago, actually a lot of years ago, when someone gave their word, they gave their word.
And it was as good as a written
contract. Well, yeah. In fact, they said a handshake was as good as a written.
Yeah, it was like your signature.
Kept it.
Yeah.
So you can imagine at this time that when someone said that and they did it over a handshake, it was as good as that. And then of course this guy now.
But did you know that McDonald's is actually a real estate company? So what happened was when he took the company, because he got I think it was a lawyer, saw him and decided to help him, and he suggested that he change McDonald's into a real estate. So you're not buying restaurants, you're buying land. So today McDonald's is actually still a real estate company. It's not necessarily a food. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Is it so? It's still a
real estate.
Oh.
So they buy land. But you know what's disgusting as well? So let me tell you this little quick spoiler. So what happens is, in the film, you see he befriends 2 other people that have a fast food restaurant. They're not involved in the McDonald's, but basically they were facing the issues of to keep ice cream cool, or those machines, they were becoming really expensive, and like refrigeration to keep the ice cream cool takes a lot of money. Yeah. So these 2 people came up with the concept of a milkshake that comes as a powder, right? Yeah. And he basically loved the idea. Basically, they said that the milkshake, it tasted exactly like a milkshake. So he took it to the McDonald's brothers and said this will make it even faster. But the McDonald's brothers were worried about the quality of their food, so they didn't want to accept it. And he basically pulled that into... So he started all of these other franchises. So they were still controlling their main McDonald's, and he started the other franchises, but he got the other franchises to use the powder, and then basically bought the company out from under them. But then he ended up divorcing his wife and marrying the chick that was the wife to the guy who came up with the powdered milkshake. So this guy was a real idiot, man. After watching, I was like, I never want to eat McDonald's again in my life. Yeah. Okay, I didn't really think that, but it's quite an intense...
Well, looking at the film, at the trailer, what is his name?
Michael Keaton, isn't it? Michael?
Yes, it is. He's
you don't like him.
Yeah, you can actually see straight away from his character. He's quite a
mean guy.
He'll do anything he'll climb over people to get to the top type of thing, and very two-faced. I can now I'm watching the trailer, by the way, without sound, and just visually looking at it, I'm like, yep, I can already tell who's who. So it's very good. I'm actually gonna go.
And most people don't know the story of McDonald's. Yeah. So it's actually it's like one of those.
Well, that's how I feel. I'm like, shame. This is like just an opportunity to sort of get the McDonald's brothers get their story out. Yeah, I'm sure they want people to know. Check, they didn't name it McDonald's. They named it the founder.
Yeah.
So they sort of.
And he said the reason he wanted the company was he wanted the name. He liked the name McDonald's.
Yeah, and it was their surname.
Yeah.
So all he had to do is...
And then he stole the company from them, and then they had to remove McDonald's from their restaurant. And then I'm still sure a couple years later he put a McDonald's right across the road from theirs, and then he stole all of their
and eventually
people.
they had to close down.
They had to close down, which sucks, man.
Yeah. But now, just interestingly speaking, I wonder if they to make the movie, they obviously have the rights to use McDonald's in a movie. I don't know, is it?
Probably.
Think of how many people use the name McDonald's in movies. Or is it's over 20 years old? Does that still count?
I don't know.
Does it work with companies? I know it works with songs. Does it work with companies? Because people nowadays, they use McDonald's.
I don't know.
Do they use McDonald's in movies?
I'm trying to think, what movie have they used McDonald's in?
Anyway, that's a good question.
Okay, the next film. Okay, I haven't watched this film. But I have heard of it, and I actually wouldn't mind watching it. It's called 127 Hours.
There must be some freaking chemical in your brain. No! That makes us different from animals. Makes us all the same. Take it if it makes you numb. Take it if it makes you calm. Love it! Take it if it makes you make it fit.
Hey! You lost? I'm a guide. What'd he say?
So the guidebook says that the route's through here, but I know a better way.
All you have to remember is that everything will be okay.
Oh my God! Aaron!
Yeah.
You liked him. I don't think we figured in his day at all.
Kristen! Help! Megan!
So basically, it's about, so this is the summary. While exploring a remote canyon in Utah, I don't know where that is, but yeah, Utah.
Wait. I know where Utah is. It sounds familiar.
Is it probably in Russia or somewhere there? Or
How do you spell it?
UTAH.
UTAH. It rings a bell. Continue, I'll tell you.
Okay, so while exploring a remote canyon
That's
in
a
Utah...
US state, by the way.
Oh, wow.
That's one of the US states.
Okay, so it's in America. Yeah. Mountaineer and adventurer Aaron Ralston, who is played by James Franco, becomes trapped when a boulder falls on his arm. Over the next 5 days, Ralston examines his life and considers his options, leading him to an agonizing choice to amputate his arm so that he can extricate himself and try to make his way back to civilization, or remained pinned to the canyon wall and likely to die.
This sounds like what is this? The movie where people kill themselves. No, well, that horror. I'm not a horror fan, but I can't remember what it's called.
That's hectic, man. Imagine you have the choice. Are you going to amputate your arm or are you going to die?
Yes, there's a movie like that.
Which one would you choose? Obviously, the amputate your arm would be the best one, hey?
Yeah.
But, to amputate your arm.
Whilst you die or you... How does he amputate his arm, though, with what he's got and how he's stuck?
I don't know, actually. That I'm not sure of. So we're like watching the... I'm just trying to be like, what? Yeah, no, this is hectic. And apparently it happened in it happened in April 2003. So the story took place in April 2003. Now, I must be honest, I want to go watch this film.
Oh, there you go. His hand got stuck in a rock.
Yeah, how would you Yes, so guys, that's this movie. That's quite intense, I'd say. Wouldn't you say, Ryan?
Yes.
Would you amputate your arm?
How would I amputate my arm?
I'd be like, okay, 1, 2...
Yeah, but like literally, what do you use? What did he use?
Okay, let's say for instance you had a knife or something.
You have to like rip your arm off or something.
But or you have to like cut it.
There you go. You
have to cut it slowly.
You had a knife.
How do you do that to yourself? Oh! And then you're never gonna... But I suppose, would you rather die? I think I'd rather live with no arm than die.
And he's just dropped his knife.
Guys, this is intense, man. We all need to go watch this movie.
And he's thinking about his family.
Yes.
His son.
His life is flashing before his eyes.
Yep.
Right, so that's 127 hours, which looks quite intense.
He does get his knife up again.
Yeah.
And he gets through.
And he's stuck in mid-air, hey?
Yep.
So literally the canyons are like this. So they're standing up straight. He's gone in between the canyons. And then a boulder so he's literally hanging there. Or the only thing that's keeping him up is his arm that's stuck in a boulder.
That's it.
Ooh.
How long is the 127 hours?
Isn't it didn't they say 5 days or something?
I think they should respond on Facebook.
Right, okay. So the next film that is also based on a true life story is called Hidden Figures. Have you watched this, Ryan?
I don't think so.
Russians have a spy satellite taking pictures of God knows what. Get us up there, Harrison. We can't justify a space program that doesn't put anything in space.
We all gonna end up unemployed riding around in this pile of junk.
You're welcome to walk the 16 miles. Or I'll sit in the back of the bus.
We're putting a human into space.
We bring him in too soon, he burns up on re-entry.
I need math that doesn't yet exist. Find a mathematician before the Russians plant a flag on the damn moon.
You have identification on them?
NASA, sir.
I had no idea they hired.
Quite a few women working in the space program.
Space test group needs a computer.
Catherine's the gal for that. She can handle any numbers you put in front of her.
They never had a colored in here, but don't embarrass me.
This wasn't emptied last night.
I'm sorry, I'm not the...
You should be an engineer.
I'm a Negro woman. I'm not gonna entertain the impossible.
I'm standing beneath a spaceship. We are living the impossible.
The IBM data processing system. We have to know how to program it.
Ooh, like that.
Get a girl. That's John Glenn.
What do you ladies do for NASA?
Calculate your trajectories.
Well, you can't get anywhere without the numbers.
How could you be ogling these white men?
It's equal rights. I have the right to see fine in every color. NASA doesn't commission females for the engineer program. Every time we have a chance to get ahead,
I would like to attend today's briefing.
There is no protocol for women attending.
they move the finish line. You all should be thankful you have jobs at all.
I don't even know if I can keep up in that room. You're better with the numbers than anyone in there, Captain.
You've been gone for 300 hours.
Felt like it to me, too.
You're never where I need you to be. Where the hell do you go every day?
The colored bathroom is a mile away.
We all get to the peak together, or we don't get there at all.
More than 50 million people are watching this launch.
John, the IBM's wrong.
Let's get the girls to check the numbers.
My gals are ready. We can do the work. Colonel Glenn?
It's good to know NASA hasn't given up on good old-fashioned brain power. The Friendship 7 has experienced some sort of a malfunction.
There's a real fireball outside. It's getting a little hot in here.
We're in the fight of our lives, people.
Friendship 7, do you copy? Over.
So basically, this movie is about 3 brilliant African-American women at NASA. And basically okay, let me continue with the summary.
I know what this is about.
Yes. So it's Katherine Johnson, Dorothy Vaughan, and Mary Jackson serve as the brains behind one of the greatest operations in history, the launch of astronaut John Glenn. So they literally were 3 major figures in getting John Glenn into space, into orbit. And it's a stunning achievement that restored the nation's confidence, turned around the space race, and galvanized the world. And basically it's a story of how these 3 African-American women, like no one knew about type of thing, but they were extremely important in getting the astronaut up. The one was a mathematician, a brilliant mathematician. The other one basically was helped install IBM.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the other one I think she was into, like, you know, like the actual what's it called, spaceships, like the material
You're
used.
talking about, yeah.
So she was involved in, like, getting the right, so they're all at different jobs, but they all did different things. But also, remember at the time, racism was quite huge. So, you know, like the one lady, she was the only black woman in the office. So obviously everyone looked at her funny. And all the toilets were only for white people. So she literally would have to run like a long way to the bathroom. You'd see her carrying books with her because it would take her so long to get there that she would go to the bathroom, sit there with her books, and then run back. And basically, it's the whole story of how these 3 women helped get the first man into orbit, or the first American into orbit. Yeah. It was a pretty good film. Like it's quite an interesting. It's funny, obviously. Yeah, it's a good film. So
it's definitely a movie I actually want to watch.
Yeah, it was, and it's interesting because
so
you're like, what?
You see, I've already got 2 from this that I haven't watched that I'd actually like to go and see.
All right, so the next film up is, drum roll please. That sounded like a car.
It comes with pitches, you know what I'm saying? Not just one straight.
And it's not like a medieval one if you're thinking it's that.
No.
It is a film called Unbroken.
However dark the night, however dim our hopes.
Inbound 4 o'clock row.
The light will always follow darkness.
Keep going the way you're going, you end up as a bum on the street. You train. You fight harder than those other guys, and you win. If you could take it, you can make it. You can do this, Lou. You just gotta believe you can. Pop does. Ma does. I do.
Louis, a moment of pain is worth a lifetime of glory.
We're gonna die out here.
We're not dying!
I hear
Olympic athlete. Don't look at me. Hello, mother, father. This is your Louis talking. I am now interned in a Tokyo prisoner of war camp. I can't say this. What it says about America is not true. This man must be taught respect. Each prisoner will teach him this lesson. I used to think that I could do anything, that I was better than I am. Who says you're not? If you get me through this, I swear I'll dedicate my whole life to you. If I can take it, I can make it.
Stay down.
If he drops it, shoot him. Come on.
Now I have watched this film. Have you watched this film, Ryan?
Nope.
This film. So let me tell you, before I tell you the storyline. So the one day, right, it was in the holidays, so we were sitting at home. I'd planned to go out with a friend, and we were just waiting for her to say, I think she was out, so she just needed to get home so we could pick her up, right? So we're sitting there, so, turn on the TV while waiting, and we turn on to this movie, and we didn't even watch it from the beginning. I promise you, we were literally all sitting there. She's like, we're home. I'm like, okay, cool, we're coming now. 10 minutes later, it's like, guys, we really need to go. Then what happened was we left, so we decided to turn the channel off. We left, but then my sister realized, because she needed to drop me because I didn't have a license yet, she didn't realize that she didn't have a license with her, so we couldn't go. Literally, we ran back to the lounge, turned the TV back on, and carried on watching. That's literally how in the movie we were. So basically,
it's a good film,
right? So you should go watch this one. It's very good. And it was directed by Angelina Jolie.
Yes, I saw that.
So basically it's about a boy named Louis Zapparini. He's an Italian, but he lived in America. And he was basically always in trouble. But with the help of his older brother, he turned his life around and channeled his energy into running, later qualifying for the 1936 Olympics, which he actually, I think he won the race in the Olympics. So, yeah. But then when World War II broke out, Louis enlisted in the military, obviously, and he basically he joined, like, I think it was he was, when like I don't know, that he was like in a squad, and then they would ride planes. So I think they would go to Japan, fetch people, bring them back. But what happened was, after their plane crashes in the Pacific Ocean, so their plane crashes in the Pacific Ocean, he survives an incredible 47 days adrift in a raft. 40, that's over a month.
Yep.
It was him and 3 guys. The one guy they were the only 3 that survived the plane crash. The one guy did die, I think, in the ocean.
Oh, no, yeah.
Yeah, so while they were still at sea. And then the two guys were then, so they weren't rescued. This is what happens. So they get captured by the Japanese Navy. So basically they get captured by the Japanese, and they sent to a prisoner of war camp, where basically Louis becomes the favorite target of a particularly cruel prison commander. And throughout the whole story, it's such an intense movie. You're like, it's just intense, man. But basically what happens is, what they would do is, if they had like famous, because obviously he was an Olympic runner, and they found that out. So the Japanese tried to bribe him.
So they knew that he was famous.
Yeah. So they tried to bribe him and say, we'll take you out of the prisoner of war camp, and we'll give you a good life here in Japan if you basically slate America. So there had been other Americans who had done it, because the prisoner of war camp was so intense and then basically they can never go back to America. They have to stay in Japan for the rest of their lives, obviously. But he doesn't do that, so he's sent back to the prisoner of war camp, and he just makes it, and then the Americans win the war, and that's obviously how he's saved. And then the amazing part is, at the end they actually show you footage of how I don't know what year it was, but one of the Olympics was actually held in Japan, and he actually ran, with the torch. They got him to run, so the Japanese asked him to run with the torch to basically light the fire for, which is it's beautiful reconciliation.
Is this them doing it because they know that
this happened?
Because this happened, they say, listen, because of that,
were
you okay?
And
cool.
then, but so when he obviously returned home, and a few years later he went back to Japan, and he actually met with a lot of the army commanders that were in charge of the prisoner of war camp. But he never ever. There was one particular one. I think he was called the Eagle or something like that. But he never ever basically made peace with that guy. Yeah, like that, and he was the worst. I think that guy was like, didn't really, I think maybe he felt too bad, I don't know. So he wasn't called the Eagle, he was called the Bird. That's what his name was. His nickname was called the Bird. And yeah, he basically at the end, yeah, he'd gone into hiding for several years, and he successfully evaded prosecution in spite of being listed in the top 40 most wanted Japanese war criminals. So he was actually a wanted man. Yeah, but basically this man Louis was he basically gave his life to God. So he believed in Jesus Christ, and he forgave his wartime captors, meeting with many of them. So that's why he went back. So he actually ended up forgiving them. The only thing that sucked about this movie was that, unlike Hacksaw Ridge, where Mel Gibson brought in the beautiful relationship that Desmond Doss had with God and his convictions, she didn't bring that out in the movie. So at one point in the film, when he's at sea, at one point of the film when he's at sea, you hear him say, God, if you get me out of this, I will believe in you. Like, I'll give my life to you and serve you. Then he obviously lives through it, but he was an amazing Christian man. And I mean, when you watch what was done to him, and I'm sure that wasn't it. I'm sure like they couldn't capture all of it, but when you watch what was done to him,
they had to do it from stories.
Yeah, and the fact that he forgave those men, you can't do without Jesus type of thing. It's not possible to do something like that.
No, you get you become very grumpy.
Yeah. And you know what amazed me with this film was how they got him skinny. You know, because obviously he's an Olympic runner, so he was quite well built. When he's at the last points of the prisoner of war camp, he's skin and bones, literally. And you're like,
so he would have had to starve himself and eat very specific diets. Yeah.
It was,
sure.
But it's guys, if you haven't watched Unbroken, please go watch it, because it is a phenomenal film. It really is. The only thing that sucks about it, as I said, is that Angelina Jolie didn't bring across his faith. Yeah. But just know at the back of your head, this guy's a Christian man, and he's doing all of this because he's a Christian.
Brilliant.
Yeah. But honestly, for me, it's one of my favorite out of the list. This film was amazing. The next film. So this film, now I don't know. The only reason I know about this film was because one day we were watching TV and we happened to turn on the channel to this film because the thing we were watching, something happened, and then we changed the channel because it's not that cool. And basically, we were like, we were shocked, when you find it's amazing, but it's also funny. So basically, the film's called Eddie the Eagle. Now,
I was in the hospital for a year when I was a kid. All the doctors said I should give up sports.
Where do you think you're going, young man?
The Olympics.
You better take this. Put your medals in.
Thanks, Mum.
For as long as I can remember, it has been my ambition to become an Olympian.
Yeah.
Eddie, you are not an athlete!
I just needed to find the right sport.
Britain hasn't had a ski jumper since 1929.
I'm going to be a ski jumper.
He's going to break his neck.
I'm going to break his neck.
The time to start jumping is when you're 5 or 6.
I heard you were a champion, so I was thinking maybe you could give me a few tips.
Give up? There's one for free. Watch this guy, number 2 in the world. And he knew what he was doing.
It's not actually going to jump, is it?
You're not going to give up, are you? You want your moment, Eddie? You got to do this for real. Our strategy will best be described as ugly but effective.
The Olympics is associated with certain qualities, excellence, achievement. They have no desire to associate with defeat.
You're a disgrace to the sport.
Good.
Personal best! And we're a disgrace!
Mr. Edwards.
Your jump doesn't count.
Because you just changed the rules. Don't I have a right to represent my country?
No.
My dreams turned into a nightmare.
It's a world that doesn't want to know you.
So what's new? The British Olympic Association is trying to stop me. I have to do this.
The press all want to hear your story.
I was kicked off every team I was ever on before I even got a chance to prove myself. I take jumping very seriously, nearly as much as proving people wrong.
And where do you think you're going?
The Olympics.
I thought you might need this.
It's higher than you jumped before, faster than you've gone before, You can break bones. You're lucky if you can walk again. As your coach, I think you're crazy. But as your friend, fly. You're Eddie the Eagle.
The Olympic team, basically, they thought he was too uncouth. So, he wasn't good enough. He wasn't proper enough.
Are you talking about like where team captain or where they selected
the British team? Yes. So he basically, they even though he actually technically qualified, they didn't allow him to come. So then he resorted to the Winter Olympics, basically to be part of a ski jumper. And the fate leads him to Bronson Perry, who's played by Hugh Jackman. So Hugh Jackman's also in it.
Nice.
And he basically is a former ski jumper who now works as a snow plow driver. Now, he's impressed by Edward's spirit and determination, and so he agrees to train the young underdog. And despite an entire nation counting him out, Eddie's never say die attitude takes him all the way to a historic and improbable showing at the 1988 Winter Olympics in Calgary, Alberta. And it's quite an interesting film. His mom is very supportive of him. His dad is like, please get a life type of thing. And literally, you can just see, because even when you're thinking, no man, no, just don't do it, he still like does the impossible type of thing. And his character is very funny. Like if he's not very sociable, he's like a nerd, an outcast. Do you understand what I'm saying? So like his character himself is very funny to watch. So you're like laughing at him, shame. Yeah. But it was quite a good film. It's an unexpected film. Like you're not really like.
So does he actually like succeed?
He does succeed. And it's based on a true life story, which is also like at the end they show you the actual guy, and you're like, oh, which is quite cool because it shows you someone like an actual person.
I think that's good because it sucks when somebody really tries and then they fail. And it just never fails. And the whole point of the movie is I just realized that you need to do things that you're good at, and that's it.
Yeah.
But to see someone.
And I mean, he gets invited to the Olympics. But his coach is like, I'm not going with you. You need to wait. You're going to embarrass yourself type of thing. And he still ends up going. And he basically is loved by the crowd. His team hates him. The British team, hates him. The crowd loves him.
Why do they hate him?
Because they see him as not good enough. So he's like, what are you doing here? You're not good enough. You're not qualified enough. All of that. But the crowd absolutely loves him. He does this thing at the end where he flaps his wings. So that's why hence the name Eagle. Eddie the Eagle. So they nicknamed him Eddie the Eagle. That's why the movie's called Eddie the Eagle. But it's quite a good film. It's a light-hearted film. So it's like you like what get to the end of it and you're like, oh, I can't believe that guy, but that was cool. So I thought it was very good. Brian is trying to show me something.
Yes. What is his trainer's name? I don't remember, but did he put him on top of like a van?
Yes, he did. He did.
Oh, cool.
Yes. Guys, if you watch the trailer, you'll actually be like, yeah. So that's Eddie the Eagle. And then our last film for the day is Dum Dum Dum. It's a movie called The King's Speech.
My husband is, he's required to speak publicly.
I have received.
Perhaps he should change jobs.
And what of my husband with a king? My husband has seen everyone.
Insert them into your mouth. Enunciate.
He hasn't seen me. I can cure your husband, but I need total trust. What was your earliest memory?
I'm not here to discuss personal matters.
Well, why are you here then?
Because I bloody well stammer.
Do you know any jokes?
Timing isn't my strong suit.
Your methods are unorthodox and controversial.
Up comes your Royal Highness.
It's actually quite good fun.
Yes. Art thou afeard? It's your peculiar. I take that as a compliment.
War with Germany will come. And we will need a king whom we can all stand behind.
He's afraid of his own shadow.
The nation believes that when I speak, I speak for them. But I can't speak.
You could do it. You needn't be governed by fear.
It'll be like Mad King George the Stammerer.
Get up, you can't sit there, get up!
Why not? It's a chair.
That is St. Edward's chair.
People have carved their names on
Listen
it.
to me! Listen to me!
Why should I waste my time listening to you?
Because I have a voice!
Yes, you do.
Your greatest test is yet to come.
What's he say?
I don't know, but he seems to be saying it rather well.
Your first wartime speech.
Broadcast to the nation and the world.
This great time of crisis.
However this turns out, I don't know how to thank you.
Bertie, you're the bravest man I know.
I intend to be a very good queen to a very great king.
Forget everything else and just say it to me.
Ryan, have you watched it?
No, I don't.
I've watched it, and I remember when I watched it. It was a long time ago, but I really, really enjoyed
I'm
it.
just going into the
movie.
I recognize faces, not names.
Yes. So it came out in 2010. So it's quite a well, not an old film, but it came out 8 years ago.
Hey, 8 years ago, that's old, eh?
Not yet. It's not 10 years yet, man. Like let's give it a break. Now you know Captain Barbosa.
Yes.
He's in this film. Not as the main character, but yes. So basically what happened is this is what it's about. England's Prince Albert must ascend the throne as King George V. But he has a speech impediment. Knowing that the country needs her husband to be able to communicate effectively, Elizabeth, who's his wife, hires Lionel Logue, who is Captain Barbosa, that's the guy, who is an Australian actor and speech therapist, to help him overcome his stammer. And an extraordinary friendship develops between the two men as Logue uses unconventional means to teach the monarch how to speak with confidence. And it's quite interesting because basically this is at a time when it's World War II, so obviously Hitler's speeches are going all over the world, and you know he speaks so confidently, and if you watch the trailer you'll actually see a part where him and his daughter are watching a speech, and the daughter goes, Daddy, what's he saying? And then he says, I don't know, but he's doing it well. So basically you can see like he's ready, he's not confident, and he's like, his whole point is the nation expects me to speak for them, but I can't even speak at all, type of thing. And to think that this is actually based on a true life story is quite incredible. So yeah, and
so it really happened.
It really happened. Sure. And you see this, he goes to these speech therapy sessions, and literally the things he gets them to do, you're like laughing because it's like, what?
I saw the one is like,
yes, but it's actually, and in the end he does end up making a speech. That's why it's called the King's Speech, and he obviously does it very, very well. But it's a very good film. I really enjoyed it. So I would yes.
It's very interesting to see. Actually, let's see what is the name of that?
The main actor.
Not the main actor, the speech therapist.
Jeffrey Rush, that's his name.
Yeah, I think it'll be very interesting to see him.
And there's a lot of, there's Colin Firth, he's quite a well-known actor, I know his face. There's Helena Bonham Carter, who's acted in a lot of movies. What movies has she acted in? Oh. She's often with Johnny Depp. She's often odd characters. So she's acted in Cinderella. She was the fairy godmother. Alice in Wonderland. She was the Red Queen. You know, with the big head. It's that chick. She's acted in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So she's acted in lots of movies. She's also in it. She's the wife, which is quite weird because she's normally in crazy characters. This is like a normal character for her. Yeah. Then Guy Pearce is the Duke of Windsor. Now, interesting enough, I don't know if you recognize him, Ryan. He's from Iron Man. Do you remember? He was the villain in Iron Man. In Iron Man 3. He's also in it.
The
villain? You know the guy that gets rejected by Tony Stark and then he ends up making that... Yes. So he's in it. So there's quite a good lot of actors in it. And it's obviously... It's quite a... I enjoy it. I think I enjoy British films. So I think... Yeah...
The humor's different.
Yes, it is different.
Yeah.
So it's a very good film. I would really recommend that you go watch it. I thoroughly... In fact, I want to go watch it again.
In fact, don't you find that most English movies have got a humor in it?
Yeah, they do. Yeah. And it's different to the American humor.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So that was... Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed The King's Speech. Very much. So go watch it, guys. In fact, all the movies that we've mentioned, the only one I haven't seen, I think, was the 127 Hours.
This movie will probably be one that I will also go see. So I've Googled them, I've noted them down. Guys, I'm going to be watching movies.
Right.
a lot of movies.
Yes, so that's the King's Speech. So if you want to run through again, it was The Impossible, was the first one, tsunami movie. If you want to cry, go watch that one. The next one was Joy. If you want to watch a movie about a mop, go watch that one. It wasn't shame, guys. It wasn't that bad.
That one I won't watch.
The third one is 127 hours, is of a man who has to either die or amputate his arm. Those are two options, man. So if you think you've got life problems, you don't. Right. The next one was Hidden Figures, is of the three women who were very heavily involved in getting the first, I think, American into space. I think it was the first American into space. Unbroken is a movie about an Olympic runner who goes to a Japanese prisoner of war camp. That one, guys, go watch that one. That one was good, man. And then the next one is Eddie the Eagle. That one's also quite good. I would say go watch that one. It's a cute movie.
Especially because it's the humor.
Yes, and then the last one is The King's Speech, which was also very, very good.
I'll watch it as well because it looks... I like funny movies. I love comedies. I love action. I think I'm more an action junkie than a comedy. Just because comedy doesn't really go anywhere. You know, the storyline isn't that strong, but it's just good and funny to watch.
Yeah, you just laugh.
But then action movies, there's always somewhere to go. And, you know, there's the struggle and
Yeah. So yes, those are movies that are made based on true life stories that you'd never think are a true life story because they're that crazy and insane. But yes,
that's it.
Oh, is that's how you're going to end the show, right? That's it.
Yeah, I said the movies that I want to watch, and I think it's quite cool because most of these movies sounds like people's whose stories needed to be told. So I think that and like I said, there's new movies that we're gonna watch. Because isn't it that we watch the latest movies on the, that's popping up, that you see at the movie house, but then there's a lot of other good movies to watch. There's a lot of other
that you've missed, actually.
Yeah, I mean, how many of our movies that we've brought out are not latest movies?
Yeah.
Well, they're later-ish, but they're not, they're like within a span of 5 months.
Yeah.
Type of thing. And so it's good movies.
And you also don't know, like, if you don't know if it's a big Avengers, you don't know, like, if you see a thing called Eddie the Eagle, you want to be like...
honestly,
yeah,
they should seriously put I don't know, something.
I think that's why they do trailers.
I think that movie houses, they should show the poster, and then when you go to KFC and the menus are animated, so it's TV screens now.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, it's TV screens, and like the stuff's animating, and then like the menu will change and animate. They should do that with the movies as well.
Right.
Yeah, they'll show the trailer. And then it'll pop back, to the main poster type of thing.
Yeah, so you can decide whether or not you want to.
And you can see it's that's brilliant.
What?
Flip. Before a show gets released. Because obviously it gets edited, guys. I think I should copyright that idea.
Right.
I'm going to do that.
It's copyrighted.
In fact, by the time you listen to this, I've copyrighted my ideas. I'm going to be in fact, I already know inside people in New Metro, so...
Right. Ryan's going to be called the founder, I'm joking.
Yes, well, no.
Oh, wait, we missed that one. And also the founder.
I won't be the founder because I'm not stealing nobody's ideas or whatever. Unless somebody already thought it up, I don't know.
Right. I don't think so, though.
No.
Yeah, so guys, we had an awesome show, but there's more. I know, right? So we are a full-on radio station called ActiveFM. If you didn't know that, I'm sure you do, though.
You've just realized that.
Right. So there's lots of other shows. There's fashion shows, comedy shows. Except I actually said this the other day. That is not a comedy show. That's a slaying show because they just rip each other off.
Yeah.
Right, they should call it the slaying show.
Yeah, we were doing recording just outside the studio, literally outside the studio, and we just heard them laughing, and we were like, wow.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, but there's so many other shows, plus we're on all different platforms, so you can see us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, everything. And then obviously you can go watch our shows on Active TV and the movie show.
And we've had one guy that already came back to us about that we are the best show ever.
Oh, yes. And he is...
Nash.
Nash from the David Nash Show.
Yes. Nash came back to us and he said, type of thing. So,
what?
So, yeah.
Yeah. So, guys, go watch those movies. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah. From me, Ryan. And son of Raymond.
Son of Raymond. And I said, peace out.